We're going to begin with a prayer. Councilman Klein has a special intention first, please.
I wanted to announce to everyone that a long time
Go ahead.
I wanted to announce to everyone that a longtime parish employee, an engineer for the parish, Dale Bosage, has passed away. He was my neighbor, and he was a great person. So it's a loss to the parish and also to the city of Kenner.
Thank you. Let us bow our heads and remember that we are in the presence of the Lord. Heavenly Father, as we remember those who have made the ultimate sacrifice for our freedoms we enjoy every day, we think of how they have followed in the footsteps of your Son, our Savior, Jesus Christ. Please hold our servicemen and women in your strong arms. Cover them with your sheltering grace and your presence as they stand in the gap for our protection. We also remember the families of our troops. We ask for your unique blessings to fill their homes, and we pray your peace, provisions, and strength will fill their lives. May the members of our armed forces be supplied with courage in the face each day, and may they trust in the Lord's mighty power to accomplish each task. Let our military brothers and sisters feel our love and support. We pray in Jesus' name, amen. Councilman Conley, would you lead us in the pledge?
Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk.
Yes, sir. You have a quorum. In accordance with Council Resolution Number B 14550, please be advised that all cellular telephones, pagers, beepers, and other devices of this nature must be deactivated or silenced throughout the council meeting. The consent agenda. Item 1 is approval of minutes, the regular council meeting of May 7th, 2015. Item 2 is approval of alcohol beverage permit applications. We have none. Item 3 is approval of bingo and public gathering applications. Item 3A, application 1873-15, AFC Enterprises Incorporated to hold a public gathering on June 10, 2015 from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. for an annual company picnic at Veterans Park. Item 3B is application number 1881-15, New Orleans Track Club to hold a public gathering on October 10, 2015 from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. in Rivertown. Item 3C is application number 1882-15, Chateau Estates Lakefront Civic Association to hold a public gathering on May 30, 2015 from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. in the 500 block of Carmenere Drive. Item 3D is application number 1884-15, Celebración Hispania de Kenner to hold a public gathering on June 27th and 28th, 2015 from 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. for a festival at Laketown. Item 3 is application number 1885-15 PCH Communications to hold a public gathering on June 6, 2015 from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. for a community event at 2701 Veterans Boulevard. Item 3F is application number 1886-15 Toby Lawrence Jr. to hold a public gathering on June 20th and 21st, 2015 from 12 p.m. to 9 p.m. for a block party in the 3100 block of Augusta Street. And that concludes our consent agenda, sir.
Motion by Councilmember DeFrances, second by Councilmember Conley on the consent. Council members, please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 7-0. The public appearance agenda. Item 9, public hearings for final passage. Item 9A is a public hearing regarding resolution number B-16593, a resolution calling a public hearing to determine whether the structure or structures located at 1212 31st Street, Kenner, Louisiana, shall be abated by repair, rehabilitation, demolition, or removal.
Motion by Councilmember Carroll, second by Councilmember Segura, to open a public hearing. Council members, please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 7-0.
We're now in a public hearing on resolution number B 16593. Mrs. Vallow, you have a presentation.
The structure in question is a one-story, single-family pile-supported foundation bearing the municipal address of 1212 31st Street. The property is owned by Mr. and Mrs. Joseph Jones et al. On September 18, 2014, it was determined that the property located at 1212 31st Street was unsafe and dangerous under the building codes for the City of Kenner, as well as Section 5-57 of the Code of Ordinances for the City of Kenner. And on October 8, 2014, a notice was sent by certified mail to the property owners advising them of the property violations. The utilities have been disconnected for several years. Since that time, we have spoken to 3 of the 6 children of the deceased parents on several occasions, and their intentions were to have the property demolished. A recent phone call was made to Miss Marilyn Jones in March to get an update on the demolition, which she indicated at that time they would proceed with demolition. As of this date, a demolition permit to proceed with demolition has been applied for on April 28, 2015. It is noted by the report of the engineer retained by the City of Kenner, who provided for the following reasons of inadequate maintenance, dilapidation, and abandonment. The utilities have been disconnected, piles of debris located throughout the property, portions of the building's soffit have become detached from the framing, the western corner metal column for the front porch is missing, thus causing the porch to sag and compromising the structural integrity of the roof structure. Based on the report of the engineer, it is recommended that the structure is a public hazard and is in imminent danger of collapse due to the partially collapsed roof structure and missing porch column, and recommends that the city take the necessary steps to have it abated by demolition or brought up to the current city codes and ordinances.
Thank you. Mrs. Rosada?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sophie Rosado of the Rosado Law Firm, and the City of Kenner has hired me as a curator to locate Mr. and Mrs. Joseph Jones et al., which includes Julia Green, wife of and Joseph M. Jones Sr., Joseph M. Jones Jr., Joseph M. Jones III, Angela Jones, Marilyn Jones, also known as Marilyn Powell, Jocelyn J. Robertson, Diane Blunt, Faze Sturgis, Kenneth Jones Sr., and Theodora Stewart. I called all of the numbers on the Intellius reports for all defendants, to which I was not able to make any contact the first day that I called the numbers. On May 14th of 2015, I reached Doris Stewart. Ms. Stewart was getting ready to go to a graduation, so I basically introduced myself, informed her I was the curator for the property, and she mentioned to me that she was at the last council meeting when this property actually got deferred until this meeting. I apologized to her and informed her that it was deferred because I was still waiting on a certified letters to come back from the post office. I informed Ms. Stewart that, again, I was not the attorney, but the curator for the City of Kenner, and she could contact an attorney to discuss this matter if she would like. Since she was going to a graduation, I asked her if she would like me to call her back, and she said yes. So I again called her on May 16th and left her a message, and called again on May 20th and reached Ms. Stewart. I reminded her of today's public hearing regarding the property demolition. She agreed that the property should be torn down and said that they are having problems with the sewage people from Viola that are supposed to come out and make sure everything is turned off prior to demolition. I'm not sure if Ms. Stewart is here today. On May 16th of 2015, I made contact with Mary Jones, Joseph Jones's mother, who stated that she had power of attorney over her son, and I was not able to speak with him as he is currently in jail. I asked her if she could send me the power of attorney, to which I have not received it to date. I informed her that I was hired by the City of Kenner to locate her son regarding this property, and informed her of today's public hearing regarding the demolition. I also informed her that on May 20th of 2015, I contacted and left her a message of the public hearing going forward as scheduled, and if she had any questions, she could contact me. To date, I have not heard back from her. I received 2 voicemail messages from Thea Sturgis on May 16th and 19th of 2015, and I was finally able to reach Ms. Sturgis today. to inform her of today's public hearing for the property demolition. She stated that she had received my letter a while back and that she would not be here today because she lives in Atlanta, but she wanted me to inform you all that she does not want to see the property demolished and would like some time to look into what her and the others needed to do to put the property into compliance. She said she did not want to see the city take the property, and she got emotional. I informed her that I was not her attorney. If she wanted to speak to one, she could, and also informed her that of today's meeting, and she said that some of her other family members might come today, and she was going to call them after she got off the phone with me. She also informed me that Diane Blunt, one of the heirs, called her stating that she never received a letter from me. However, I did send out several letters to the addresses from the Intellia search and also ran the ad in the Times-Picayune for 3 days to notify the heirs. Ms. Sturgis told me that she and other family members notified Ms. Blunt, so she does have notice. Also, I gave her the number to Kenner's Code Enforcement and told her if she had any questions or needed anything further, she can call today. I mailed 49 letters to the addresses that were provided by the Intellia search. Of the 49 letters, 37 were returned unclaimed and 12 were returned claimed with return receipt. Mennonite letters were sent by the City of Kenner to Parish of Jefferson, Clerk of Court, Louisiana Secretary of State, Department of Insurance, and Mr. and Mrs. Wayne Bean on December 15th of 2014. Not convinced all of the defendants had been found, I ran the ad in the Times-Picayune on May 10th, 13th, and 15th of 2015, and to date I have not received any other phone calls regarding this property, and those are the steps that I took to locate the named defendants. My search is concluded.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak? Okay, seeing none, Councilman Carroll, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ms. Vallot, first I'd like to thank you for the documentation from your office that I requested the last council meeting. Appreciate that. I had an opportunity to speak with a couple of the family members relating to this. I was under the impression that maybe some of them would be here today and that they had proceeded with trying to contact a demolition expert to demolition the property. But as of to date, you haven't received any of the documentation that confirms the water or the plumbing has been cut off. I see Ms. Jones just walked in. I'm gonna hope. We are still in public hearing, correct?
Right, yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna defer my comments until after Ms. Jones can come to the mic and address. We're right on.
Ms. Jones, would you like to come up? Yes. I don't know. An air. If you could state your name and address for the record, please.
It's Marilyn Jones Powell, 1408 31st Street, Kenner, Louisiana. We are in the process of having the utilities. Well, we've had the utilities turned off. They've been off since Katrina. The utility companies are sending letters to the Code Enforcement Department, notifying them that all utilities and meters have been taken out, except Entergy. Entergy says they don't send out letters. They don't notify Code Enforcement of their actions. We've also contracted with the Bush brothers to do the demolition. So once we've applied for a permit from Code Enforcement, once all the paperwork is in from the various utilities, then the Bush boys will go in and do the demolition of the house.
Okay. We're going to close the public hearing, and then we'll comment on it. Oh, you have a question? Okay, sorry.
Ms. Vallot, did you say there was a demolition permit that was applied for, or none has been applied?
A permit has been applied for, was applied on April 28th.
And who do you know who applied for that permit?
Joseph, well, it says the owner is Joseph Jones, but it looks like Bush Construction applied for it.
And all the utilities have been disconnected?
We've gotten one letter from Atmos. We have nothing, the sewer hasn't been tied off, capped off. We have no other than Atmos.
Verification. And you're saying, you're testifying here today that you're willing to demolish the building once the disconnects are done?
Yes.
I think that's all I have.
I just
Councilman
had one
Klein.
question that apparently it's moot now, but how long has the structure been vacant?
I started a year and a half ago, but it looks like it's been vacant for quite some time. She said that the utilities have been disconnected since Katrina. If you looked at the photographs, you can see the center portion of the roof line has completely collapsed. And now I passed by it today, and it looks like the front portion of the house, the roof line is coming down as well. No one's lived there for quite some time.
Thank you.
Gregory, you want to speak? I mean, Councilmember Carroll.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ms. Jones, could you come back to the mic just in case?
I think he has some questions.
All right, let's close it in now.
Want to close it? Okay. Motion by Councilmember Carroll, second by Councilmember Segura to close public hearing. Council members, please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 7-0.
Motion by Councilmember Carroll, second by Councilmember Segura on the legislation. Councilmember Carroll, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thanks again, Ms. Jones, for coming up. Ms. Valley says she has a application from Atmos saying that the utility that's closed off. You said that it is the electricity has been closed off.
Yes.
And what other utility?
And water.
Water. Do you have any documentation showing that you've done this in the period that you say you did?
No, the only thing I have is the application for the permit that we applied for. And when we came in to apply for the permit, they informed us that we had to get a licensed plumber to go out and cap off the sewer line. And we're in the process now of trying to locate a plumber that would go out and not charge us an arm and a leg in our firstborn. It's quite expensive to have that done. But to have a plumber go out and cap off the sewage and then have the sewage department do the inspection. I spoke to a representative with Entergy today, and they informed us that they don't send letters to code enforcement or to anyone else. Code enforcement would have to contact them. And so a call was made to Miss Debbie, and she said that she would contact Entergy and see if they would fax her some paperwork. The water is faxed a letter to code enforcement today as well. Because I contacted them 2 weeks ago asking them for the letter to be faxed to code enforcement, as well as copies for myself, and they told me it was coming. I have not received it to this day. But today I was told that a fax will be sent to code enforcement from water, and Ms. Debbie said she would contact Entergy to get confirmation from Entergy that everything's turned off.
And as far as with the Bush construction, have y'all signed a contract or some type of agreement for a cost and a start date for that process?
Well, we didn't do a contract with them. We did a verbal agreement, and he said that as soon as we get all the paperwork that we needed done with code enforcement, that they would go in and do the demolition for us. We have spoken with them.
So Ms. Ballard, is that your understanding from Entergy? That's how they normally conduct?
Yes.
No,
How they
sir.
normally
They
conduct their-
typically will send us a letter saying that this electrical service has been disconnected. They do send us letters. I've done several demolitions since I've been here, and they will send a disconnect notice that there is no power going there.
Is it cut off, if the electricity cut off there?
My presumption is there, probably the meter is still on there.
No, the meter's been gone since '05.
Yes, we do receive written confirmation from Entergy when all of it's taken care of.
So, Ms. Jones, you're saying that it is cut off, the electricity is cut
The
off?
electricity is cut off. The meter's been gone since '05. 2 weeks ago, Entergy sent someone out to cut the wiring from the pole to the house so that when the contractor go in to do the demolition, he won't get caught up in the wires.
Is
So
that-
all of that has been
So,
disconnected.
Ms. Valla, from our pictures and from our investigation, is that the case for that the wires from the home has been cut so it won't cause any type of, or do we have any type of documentation or pictures, or have you validated that?
Councilman, I went by there today, but I didn't walk the property. I actually took the photographs for this, and I can't recall, but my presumption, it would be a safe assumption, but I can't tell you specifically
understand.
whether or not.
Yeah, that's, I'm not saying it's a moot point, but it's just, I was just asking to validate. So, Ms. Jones, is there a sense of a schedule for, I mean, if on Monday that this information is received by the code department from Entergy and from the plumbing, what is the schedule of the
And
agreement with
immediate demolition.
immediate demolition with the
Bush Brothers.
with the Bush construction?
They're just waiting to get the okay from,
Could you get that from them as opposed to waiting for them to send it to you? Is it possible to get it from them, you personally, or someone?
I can. I don't know where Entergy is located because I do everything online, but I'm sure there's a local office somewhere. I don't know
Because
where.
it seems as if that you have started the process. Part of it's in, part of it's not in. You have gone ahead in contact with the Bush Brothers. They have done work with the city, so we're comfortable with that. It's just a matter of figuring out the time frame for this, and I would definitely like to give you and your family the opportunity to demolition the building and to retain the ownership from that standpoint. Ms. Vallard, as far as Entergy responding back with that information, is that something that they can go personally and get from Entergy as opposed to mailing it or emailing it?
Typically, that's left to the contractor to make the communications with the utilities for the disconnects when it's a private contractor. When we do it, we're contacting them directly. So if the Bush Brothers would need to contact to make sure that all of the utilities are disconnected.
So have they, this is the understanding?
No, I personally was taking care of getting the utilities and everything disconnected and getting the letters done to make sure that it's done. But if the contractor is the person that actually needs to do that, then I'll speak with Michael and have him,
It's not
Contact
just
them.
that the contractor, I mean, you as an owner of the property can also do that as well. So either way, you're fine doing that.
okay.
Yeah, well, based on all information, I'm going to ask my colleagues for another 2 weeks deferral to give Ms. Jones and her family an opportunity to get all this into place. And obviously, we don't have to wait till the 2 weeks, but once we get this in, to submit it into the code so they'll know, because the house is in terrible condition. There's summertime is coming around, school is out, so this is something we don't want to linger past the next couple of weeks, and hopefully the Bush construction, we can get this in and to expedite this. So that will be my recommendation.
Councilman Carroll, can we just do a 60-day period where if the house is not demolished in 60 days, then we'll go ahead and vote on this legislation tonight and approve it, knowing that code's going to wait 60 days to give her 60 days to have the property taken down.
Ms. Valla, does that work within the guidelines of your department for us to vote on something like that?
I have
60
no
days.
objection because we've put so much work into, I've had to retain the services of a curator. And if I have to continue the process, I'd rather y'all would take a vote on, to take the next steps necessary. And I'm fine with that.
Okay, so Ms. Jones, the opinion here is to 60 days. Hopefully by that time everything is done and the whole project is complete. But after 60 days, if it hadn't moved forward, because we're going to vote on it tonight, the process will start.
Okay.
Are you and Ms. Stewart comfortable with that agreement, Ms. Stewart? Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. Okay,
Thank
so
you.
that's my recommendation for the 60 days. After 60 days, for us to vote on it tonight, and to proceed with the demolition if it doesn't proceed.
Okay, Councilman Carroll, I got a couple other people who want to speak, and I'll let you close if you
Okay.
want to close. Councilmember DeFrances.
Ms. Fowler, I have a quick question for you, especially if we are going to vote on the 60-day deferral, or 60 days for the demolition to take place. The Bush Brothers have already come to you, you said, and filled out an application for demolition. Is that not correct? I heard you correctly?
Yes, ma'am. They
For
applied
how long?
They applied for the
28th.
application on April 28th this
28th,
year.
right. The question is, how long is that application valid?
I believe it's 6 months.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that that application, so that everyone here would know that that application is still valid for the 60-day period, which we would be granting, and so that they don't have to come back and reapply.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember DeFrances. Councilmember Klein, you have the floor.
Thank you.
Councilmember Carroll, would you like to close? Okay. You have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. So, Ms. Jones, Ms. Stewart, I'm glad that you guys came in today. I think sometimes Ms. Vala's department get a knock sometime for not wanting to participate with the citizens, and I think this is showing that our responsibility is not just to tear someone's property down and to put a lien on it. That actually the last thing that we want to do. So as long as the owners are participating with us, it makes it a whole lot easier. It makes things go smoother for both parties. So I think tonight this was showed abundantly for both parties. So, I'd like to thank Ms. Vala for all of our work that they're going through. Thank you for Ms. Stewart and your family for stepping up and you've been a long member, your family in the city of Kenner and the Lincoln Manor subdivision, to be specific. We intend to hopefully continue to provide services for you and your family. So thanks again, and we look forward to taking care of this situation.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you all for the opportunity.
Thank you. Let me just clear something. So we don't need, just to clarify, we don't need to amend this legislation for the 60 days. It's understood that we're given 60 days. Is that correct, Ms.?
Well, let's amend it.
Okay. So, a motion by Councilmember Carroll, second by Councilmember Segur to amend it to give a 60-day.
And if it's not demolished by 60 days,
Then the city will. Okay, we're going to vote on the amendment. Okay, council members, please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 7-0.
Okay, now we're going to vote on the legislation as amended. Council members, please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Item 9B is a public hearing regarding summary ordinance number 11,860, an ordinance granting to Entergy Louisiana LLC a right-of-way and servitude to provide electric service to the new Kenner Food Bank facility on Lot 11-A, Square 28, Kenner Subdivision, 317 Oxley Street, Kenner, Louisiana.
Motion by Councilmember Carroll, second by Councilmember Klein. Councilmember Carroll, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to say that the food bank, the structure, the parking and everything is proceeding along. It should be real soon before it's open again. It is something that the city of Kenner should take pride in, that we are able to support our citizens, especially the ones that are in need now of food and water and things and even clothing to support, because there are some families that are in need. We as a city have always stepped up and to provide it. We look forward to the food bank opening and to be able to a new facility and to keep going.
Councilmember Carroll, I just realized we're still in the public hearing, so
Okay.
I made a mistake here. So we're now in a public hearing for summary ordinance 11860. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak? Seeing none, we're going to vote to close? No. Oh, we didn't vote to open?
We have to vote, yes, sir, it's fine, it's fine. We have to-
okay.
We have to vote to
All right.
open it.
Let me start this all over. So
It's
now we're going to
okay.
vote to open a public hearing.
It's fine, it's fine. All right, let's vote
Council
to
members, please
open
vote.
it.
Sorry,
That's okay,
I got way ahead of myself here.
that's okay.
Yeah. And I'll let him. Okay,
Motion passes 7-0.
okay, we're now in a public hearing on summary ordinance 11860. Is there anybody that would like to speak? Seeing none, we'd like to vote
Motion by
on,
Councilman
vote on closing the public hearing.
Yes, sir.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. Motion by Councilmember Carroll, second by Councilmember Klein on the legislation. And Councilmember Carroll, I guess you were done. Good. Okay. Council members, please vote.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 9C is a public hearing regarding summary ordinance number 11,865, an ordinance approving the plan of re-subdivision of lots A through E, 1 through 6, 9 through 20, 28 through 34, 50 through 55, and a portion of 49, Square 9, Hanson Place subdivision into lots 10A, 15A, 20A, 30A, 40A, and 50A, Square 9, Hanson Place subdivision, and amending Section 2 of Ordinance 9118 to include metal fabrication as a permitted use, and further amending Ordinance 9118 by expanding the governance of the planned unit development into Lot 1-A-1, Square 10, as well as lots 10A, 15A, 20A, 30A, 40A, and 50A, Square 9, Hanson Place subdivision, PUD-1-15.
Motion by Councilmember Carroll, second by Councilmember Impastato to open a public hearing on summary ordinance 11865. Council members, please vote.
Motion passes 7-0.
Okay, we're now in a public hearing, and I believe Mr. Hebert has a presentation.
Yes, thank you, Council President. The applicant is Heigl and Associates on behalf of Alliance Mini Storage Number 1 LLC, Alliance Mini Storage Number 2 LLC, 63 LLC, and 1820 LLC. Square 9 contains multiple lots and is bounded by Geneva Street to the northwest, 3rd Street to the south, Minden Avenue to the east, and Curtis Avenue to the west. Lot 1A1, located in Square 10, contains the Cycle Construction Facility. Lot 1A1 was created in 2014 and contains former portions of unimproved Blair Street and Geneva Street rights-of-way. Square 9 is currently zoned SI, Special Industrial. Lot 1A1 on Square 10, except for those former portions of Blair and Geneva Street rights-of-way, is governed by Special Ordinance 9118, adopted by the City Council in 2005, approving a plan unit development for Cycle Construction. The lots that are located in Square 9 that are part of the proposed re-subdivision are owned by several limited liability companies. 63 LLC, which owns and operates Cycle Construction, is in the process of purchasing those lots to expand their operation of business. The plan of re-subdivision includes the bundling of the smaller existing lots into 6 larger lots. Now, each lot meets the minimum lot size of the SI district, and all utilities have indicated no objection to the proposed re-subdivision, provided that existing utility servitudes that are in the area are protected. The second request is to amend Section 2 of Ordinance 9118 to add metal fabrication to the list of uses that are permitted for Cycle Construction. Now, as a note, Special Ordinance 1905, which was adopted by the Council in 1976, originally listed metal fabrication as one of the permitted uses for that development site. The third and final request is to expand the governance of Ordinance 9118 to include all of existing Lot 1A1, as well as the 6 proposed lots located in Square 9, which are currently zoned Special Industrial. Now, The underlying zoning of the lots will continue to be SI, and in addition, the lots will be governed by the regulations of Ordinance 9118 as well. The Planning Commission on October 22nd, upon the review of the application, recommended approval.
Thank you. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak? Would you please state your name and address for the record, please?
Sure. John Jared Diskin here on behalf of Heigl and Associates representing the owners of the property. Address is 131 Airline Drive, Suite 201, Metairie, Louisiana, 70001. Basically, as Ms. Hebert summarized our requests, we're just here to answer any questions the council may have and also reserve time to rebut any questions we may have or any objections from the public.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing, and if they have any questions, if you could just stay there just for a minute.
Sounds good?
Okay, motion by Councilmember Carroll, second by Councilmember Impastato to close the public hearing. Council members, please vote. Motion by Councilmember Carroll, second by Councilmember Impastato on the legislation. Council members, please vote. Oh, I got ahead of myself again. I do this all the time.
It's okay. You're fine.
Okay. You want to fix the? Don't have the screen yet to vote.
You, okay. There you go.
Thank you. Councilmember Carroll, let me get your mic. There you go. You're up.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. First, I'd like to thank Mr. Hebert and his department for all the hard work on this project, and also, sir, thank you and your company.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. The vote didn't go through.
It didn't go through?
Oh. 3 pending.
Three pending. To close?
No, we voted to close already.
It didn't go through?
This is, I didn't call the vote to close.
Oh,
I didn't call it because it's still pending.
okay, so we need to close first, public hearing?
No, you're in the process of voting on it now. It's. No, I didn't call the vote to close it because it's still pending. Somebody didn't,
So,
there's still 4 votes that are pending. Who? Yes.
Okay,
So-
so we're going to vote right now to close the public hearing. I'm sorry.
Okay, let me
I
just,
thought we did that, and I thought I saw the screen up, but maybe I was mistaken.
okay, all right, let's do this again.
Okay.
1 second. Okay, this is to close the public hearing.
Okay, so we're going to vote to close. She's asking us to,
I'm asking you to close the public hearing. Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you.
Now we're good.
now, motion by Councilmember Carroll, second by Councilmember Impastato on the legislation. Councilman Carroll, you have the floor.
thank you, Mr. President. Again, Mr. Hebert and his department for the work on this and the number of projects that have come up in the past year and will be coming up. It's this area will have a lot of activities, and we look forward to addressing it accordingly. Also, again, to thank you, sir, and your company for having the confidence to want to stay and to expand. So we look forward to that. If you would please, if you could leave your card with Mr. Hebert for us to get it. I'd like to send something to your office, thanking again, and thanking the rest of the members of your company.
Sure.
So thanks again. If you have any other questions, please feel free to give me a call.
Will do.
And
Appreciate it.
good luck. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilmember Impastato, you have the floor.
Mr. Diskin. Sir. I'd like to echo my colleagues' comments and thank you guys for expanding in the city of Kenner. But I have one question that is essential. Who is the most difficult person to ever have to field ground balls from in the city of Kenner?
That's an easy answer.
Is it?
It is.
Who would that be?
Coach Jose Gonzalez.
All right, just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
Okay, now we're going to vote on the legislation, right?
Yes, sir.
Council members, please vote.
Motion passes 7-0.
And I want to say something, you know, today is Red Nose Day. I think I have Red Face Day.
Oh.
Okay?
Item 10 is opening of bids. We have none. Item 11 is reclassification of zoning for final passage. We have none. Item 12 is other ordinances for final passage. Item 12A is summary ordinance number 11,862 and ordinance amending ordinance number 10,834, adopted on October 16, 2014, to clarify the method for approving expenditures from the account created in said ordinance.
Motion by Councilmember Conley, second by Councilmember Reyno. Councilmember Conley? No? Okay. Council members, please vote.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 13 is resolutions and motions by council members. Item 13A is a resolution adopting the revised 2015 multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan update prepared and completed by the City of Kenner, Jefferson Parish Floodplain Management and Hazard Mitigation Department, and Hunt, Gilliard and Associates LLC, utilizing funding provided by HMGP Grant Number 4080-0005-051-3P.
Motion by Councilmember Conley, second by Councilmember DeFrances. Council members, please vote.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 13B is a resolution ratifying the appointment of Charles E. Tony Jr. to the City of Kenner Civil Service Board in accordance with Section 8.02A7 of the Charter of the City of Kenner.
Motion by Councilmember DeFrances, second by Councilmember Conley. Councilmember DeFrances, you have the floor.
Very quickly, I would just like to thank Mr. Tony for being willing to serve on this capacity. Thank you for his service. Thank you.
Councilmember Carroll, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Also would like to congratulate Mr. Tony. He is not here, but he's also one of the attorneys that are on one of the zoning committees. So, you know, not only is he serving or will be serving in this capacity, but he has served District 1 in the capacity on one of the zoning committees. So again, thank him for his civic duty, and I'm sure this has been a fantastic choice, and he will do a fantastic job. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Council members, please vote.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 14 is items removed from the consent agenda. We have none. Item 15 is acceptance of contracts and similar matters approved by the mayor. Item 15A is summary ordinance number 11,863. An ordinance approving the utilization of Jefferson Parish contract number 55-14418 with 3M Company for the purchase of reflective sheeting on an as-needed basis in an amount not to exceed $50,000 annually for the Department of Public Works.
Motion by Councilmember Impostata, second by Councilmember Segura. Council members, please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Item 15B is summary ordinance number 11,864, an ordinance approving the utilization of Jefferson Parish contract number 55-000-14634 with Truck and Transportation Equipment Company Incorporated for the purchase of vehicle equipment on an as-needed basis in an amount not to exceed $75,000 annually.
Motion by Councilmember Klein, second by Councilmember Reyno. Council members, please vote.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 15 is, item 15C is a resolution approving an agreement with the State of Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development for traffic signal upgrades at the intersections of West Esplanade Avenue and Chateau Boulevard and West Metairie Avenue and Roosevelt Boulevard, State Project Number H.011463. Federal Aid Project Number H011463, City of Kenner Project Number 2014-1 20-012RB.
Motion by Councilmember Segura, second by Councilmember Klein. Councilmember Klein, you have the floor.
Is it on?
Yep.
Now, You have to pull it.
Go on.
At that intersection are old. They've been repaired a number of times with Mr. Gonzalez's help and Councilman DeFrancis's help, and they're old. So they need to be replaced, and we look forward to getting the new traffic signals. And Mr. Gonzalez, can you tell us about how old they are? I know they've been up there for a number of years, and you've repaired them a bunch of times.
I don't know exactly how old they are, but they are old. Our primary goal under this project is to change the wire system that supports the traffic signals, and we're going to go to mast arms. In addition to mast arms, we're probably going to put cameras, and we're going to put a new controller out there. This resolution is required because we are going to obtain federal matching funds to the tune of 80% of the construction cost. So this is one of the many requirements that the DOTD dictates that we do in order to be able to receive 80% matching funds from the federal government.
Thank you.
Councilmember Segura. Let's see if this is going to work. Let me do it the other way. Councilmember Segura, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you. Jose, just, Mr. Gonzalez, just make sure it's the same equipment is going to be installed at the West Metairie Roosevelt location too, the mast arms and new wiring?
The same identical scope of work for West Esplanade and Chateau is going to take place at West Metairie and Roosevelt.
Right, cameras.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Councilmember DeFrancis, you have the floor. Yeah, I got you on it.
It's on anyway? Thank you. I just wanted to back up what Mr. Gonzalez and Mr. Klein said. When I was the councilperson for District 4, that particular intersection, the traffic light signal was broken so often, I can't even tell you. I think the people in my district got to know me because I had to be out on the corner with those big cardboard triangular materials they used to replace the traffic signal when it would break. In fact, I think that my fingers got caught a few times, and probably that's why they're not straight anymore. So it really is something that needed to be done for so long, for so many years, and I'm just grateful to Mr. Gonzalez and Councilman Klein, the administration, for finally making that happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no other discussion, council members, please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Item 16 is ordinances and resolutions in summary for first reading. Item 16A is an ordinance adopting the capital budget for the City of Kenner for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2015 and ending June 30th, 2016. Item 16B is an ordinance authorizing a lease agreement between the Jefferson Parish and the City of Kenner for portions of the Arthur P. Clay Community Resource Center bearing the municipal address of 200 Decatur Street, Kenner, Louisiana. Item 16C is an ordinance authorizing an intergovernmental agreement between the Parish of Jefferson and the City of Kenner for the use of property which includes the location of the North Kenner Library, 630 West Esplanade Avenue, Kenner, Louisiana, and the non-exclusive use of the associated parking area and provided for related matters. Item 16D is an ordinance ratifying the proposal from Berkeley Insurance Company with an AM Best rating of A+ Superior 15 for commercial package liability insurance at a cost not to exceed $299,000 for the period of July 1st, 2015 through July 1st, 2016. Item 16E is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Louisiana Lift and Equipment Incorporated in the amount of $8,145 for the purchase of one trailer-mounted light tower in accordance with letter bid number 15-1534 for the Department of Public Works. Item 16F is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Economical Janitorial and Paper Supplies, LLC, for a 6-month contract to supply copy paper for various City of Kenner departments in accordance with telephone bid number T15-2292 in an amount not to exceed $10,000. Item 16G is an ordinance accepting the responsive bid received from Max Foot Construction Company, LLC, in the amount of $16,588,000 for the Kenner Wastewater Treatment Plant Number 3 Improvement Project in accordance with seal bid number 15-6262 for the Department of Public Works. Item 16H is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Nortex Concrete Lift and Stabilization Incorporated to provide labor, materials, equipment necessary for concrete pavement lifting on an as-needed basis in accordance with seal bid numbers 15-6271 in an amount not to exceed $300 annually for the Department of Public Works. Item 17 is reports from the council and our special committees.
Seeing none.
We have none. Okay. Item 18 is new business. We have none. Item 19 is unfinished business and our motions to reconsider or remove from a tabled position. We have none. Item 20 is persons wishing to address the council on special subject matters.
Mr. Giordano.
A.J. Giordano, 3518 California Avenue. After the May 7, 2015 council meeting, Mayor Yenny approached me to say he did not appreciate the games I was playing. Well, just to be perfectly clear on this matter and to let him know as well of each of you on this council, I am and have been dead serious in what I've been trying to accomplish in my neighborhood. No games involved. I assure you all, trying to get this administration to repair and clear the sidewalks is not only a law that presently exists on the books, but is the moral and right thing to do. Since July 2013, I sent numerous emails and letters voicing my opinion on this matter. On May 12, 2014, the mayor and had the city attorney send me a 9-page letter trying to show cause as to why the city did not have to follow the letter of the law. In June 2014, I, in turn, sent him a letter stating I believe that the city did not prove their point based on what was sent to me. Also, I stated what might happen if a child were to be struck by a vehicle due to the neglect of this administration. After my letter, the mayor, he and Mr. Gruntz called me and said he was reluctant, but he would go forth with 2 properties of which I'd sent pictures. An email was sent from the mayor's office to Mr. Gruntz on August 5th, 2014, then in turn sent to Director Vallow on August 22nd, 2014. Director Vallow then sent me an email asking me for the addresses of the said properties, which I responded to those addresses on September 9th, 2014. Any time left, Keith?
Yep, you got 1:18 seconds.
Okay. Well, I just got to say that I'm glad that we're attacking these derelict properties a lot better now, and I know the city is spending thousands of dollars to get at them. It's just a shame that we can't see that, not even send letters out to see if the people with these bad sidewalks can even afford to fix them or not. The city is so afraid that they might have to, put liens on our property and be fronted with this, this amount of money. It's the same thing with the blighted property. We're doing that. It's the same thing with the sidewalks. I don't know why we're not going forward and trying to get this resolved, Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Debbie, you.
Deborah Giordano, 3521 California Avenue. I was born and raised in this city, and I've lived here my whole life. So believe me when I tell you that I've seen some major changes throughout the years in this city. I try to understand that the city officials are limited in resources and things get done basically in the order of importance. The public is invited to address the council on matters of interest or concern to them and/or their neighborhoods to bring awareness to our council members. We have council members to represent the people of the various districts of our city to address our concerns. On the surface, this seems to be a very fair and democratic way of clarifying issues on both sides as to what is in the ordinances and laws, so as to ascertain what we can expect to change and what we cannot. The laws in the ordinance are generally clear. What isn't clear is which laws will be enforced and which ones will not. Can the public pick and choose which laws they will obey and which ones they will not? I think not. This appears to be a double standard, but I'm not here to point out that ambiguity at this time. I am very disenchanted by the general attitude of the majority of our administrative officials. You have concerned, law-abiding, tax-paying, voting citizens who routinely address this council, and they are met with opposition more times than not, or worse yet, total indifference. I've sat back and watched these concerned individuals being treated as nuisances to this council, when in essence, their concern is for the well-being, safety, and quality of life for everyone in the city, not just the affluent neighborhoods here, which in fact is where your concern should also be. While there have been many advances over the years in our city, there's a steady decline of pride and respect for property and quality of life. But when met with such adversity or indifference from our public and/or elected officials, it's like beating a dead horse. No matter what laws are on the books, it's a pick and choose type of enforcement. Gone are the days of our elected officials and the public working together for a better city. It seems our officials have a much different agenda on their schedules, which doesn't even include the people of this city, much less their concerns about their neighborhoods. I guess that's politics in a nutshell, and Kenner has become merely a stepping stone. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Diane Horn. If you could state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Diane Horn. I've been in 3513 Colorado for 47 years. And the first time I was cited because I paid for a double-car driveway, and somebody like Mr. Giordino and his wife is not happy. So when they got that much money to bitch and gripe about everybody on the council, they need to share their money with the people that make them so unhappy. I do not intend to do nothing to please them. And guess what? If they want to pay for me to have a driveway, I'll do it. I left a neighbor use my driveway to do an extension on his house, and he was supposed to do it. I worked for Chateau for 18 years. My husband taught the fire department for 23 years, Navy for 20, and if they're not satisfied, I think we've done our duty. And he's dead now, and I'm not giving no more money to nobody. I've cleaned my house, and I take care of it. Who don't like it? I'll take all the volunteering. If they don't like the council, maybe they ought to run and see if they can do a better job, because I don't see them up there, and I'm not changing what I've done. Sorry to please them. I'm finished. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Horn. Okay. Does anybody on the council have any remarks? Okay. All right. Hold on. Let me give you that microphone. Okay, Councilmember Carroll, you have.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd just like to say that, this time of the year, I've had the opportunity to go to a couple of high school graduations. I know personally from the people here on the council and within the administration, the police chief and myself both have sons. The chief's son graduated from Rummel High School. My son graduated this year from St. Augustine High School. Some fine young men, and when you go to these graduations and hear all of the accomplishments and all of the schools and all the things they want to do, it gives you great pride to know that a lot of these young men and women are from the city of Kenner. So on behalf of myself and everyone in District 1, to all of the graduates, male and female, for starting something and to completing it, for going on to be adults, to be able to move on and to have a bright future, be it in Kenner or be it anywhere in the world. You've done a great job. We look forward to your leadership in years to come, and congratulations to all of you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilmember Carroll. Councilmember Segura, you have the floor.
Thank you. I just want to take a moment. During our meeting, we probably experienced and heard the heavy rain. For the members of the audience that'll be going home, if you're going to North Kenner, just want to give you some heads up. There is quite a bit of street flooding taking place, so not knowing where each of you live, just want to tell you, please be careful driving through the water. We have some pretty heavy water out there right now, so just be careful. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Segura. Okay, seeing no other discussion, motion to adjourn.